Hey, house guests, welcome to today's Celebrity Big Brother 3 updates and spoilers. I'm just flabbergasted by what I've seen on the live feeds today. Like, this is not real life. It can't be real. This cannot be happening. But we'll get into it. Our house guests of the day are Pine, Deb Wicks, Gwendolyn H, Elizabeth FP, and Carol Zamochin Miller. Thank you all so much for the support. We could not do this without you, and we appreciate it so much. So thank you again. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. I just, I'm freaking shooketh. I also want to thank yesterday's super chatters because that is another fantastic way to support this channel and keep us making live streams, making recaps, all that good stuff. So Jefferson Tucker, Sean, Andrew Rolfgang, Darren McDowell, Phil D, and Jody Cortez, thank you all so much from the bottom of our hearts. We really do appreciate it. And I see we've got a super chat already from Jefferson Tucker today. Thank you. And Jefferson says, welcome to the Big Brother dumpster fire. What the bleep is happening? I mean, really, I would like to know too, because this is just, it's too much. Like, it hurts me to watch what has been going down today. Oh my goodness. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep up with you guys. Alex Garza, thank you so much for the super chat. Nina Sosa, thank you so much for the super chat. And Nini Girl, thank you so much for the super chat. You guys are awesome. All right, I'm going to get into it. I mean, honestly, like, I was reading through my notes as I usually do before the stream. And, like, all the stuff from last night and, like, early this morning, I was like, oh my God, this feels like so long ago. Just, like, thinking about what actually happened today in the last few hours is like, what? But bear with me while we go through the stuff from last night. So, last night, Chris and Sank and Cynthia were up on the block, and we saw Chris was evicted by a vote of 5-0. Chris seemed a little bit surprised that he didn't get a sympathy vote from Shayna, but other than that, he was fine with leaving. I'm a little bit surprised that he was a little bit surprised because he is supposed to be like a big fan of this show. And sympathy votes are not really like super common these days. They don't happen very often because people are always like, I need to vote with the house. I can't be like on the wrong side of the vote. It's going to be, an easy excuse for somebody to put me up on the block. So I'm really surprised that he was really expecting a sympathy vote from Shayna there. But anyway, also he had been telling Shayna, you got to vote me out. You got to vote me out. And then he was like, she didn't vote for me to stay. But he just seemed happy to be part of the move to flip the house against Misha and Todrick. If only that were true. It's getting gross in there. We will get there. It's just a lot of the stuff that we're about to go through. It's like, wow, I remember when life used to not suck. So they had the HOH competition last night. It started at the end of the episode, and it was an endurance. It was the wall. It's a staple every season. So Big Brother made it easier for the celebrities. There was a wider ledge for them to stand on. There were bars to hold on to instead of just like standing like this with like these little tiny holes that they could put their fingers into. But yeah, they made it a lot easier because they wanted this competition to be longer than like 5 minutes. So everyone was still hanging on by the end of the episode. I was like, wow, not expecting that, but good for you. So Big Brother was also hitting them with steam, with paint, with hair. Like, what? They were like raining wigs down on them, I guess. But it wasn't even like a full wig. It was just like little bits of hair, which makes me cringe. But of course, they were also tilting the wall forward and back, trying to knock people off of there. So everybody was looking pretty strong at first, and then Lamar was the first to fall at 7:14 p.m. And this is just not an easy competition for someone so tall. This competition usually favors people with a smaller frame, maybe like not even as much muscle, because it's easier for you to hold yourself up if you are lighter. But yeah, this was not going to be Lamar's competition. And then Cynthia drops less than a minute later. So just like that, we are down to 4. Carson, Todrick, Shanna, and Todd. And I gotta say, it's impressive how long Todd stayed up there. He is 56 years old. He's got a bad shoulder that he's had surgeries on. But he did not fall until like half an hour later. It was 7:44 p.m. And it was making me crack up because after Todd fell, he was like covered in the paint and the hair and all that. And Lamar keeps telling Todd, "You look like the ugly guy from Harry Potter." Schmeagle. What? It's wrong on multiple levels. I don't know if he was talking about Dobby or Gollum. And if you guys aren't aware, Gollum is from Lord of the Rings, not Harry Potter. But it really it made me laugh. So thank you for that, Lamar. So then Shayna fell a few minutes after Todd at 7:48 p.m. And oh my God, that means it's down to Carson versus Todrick for this HOH win. It could not be a more dramatic and anxiety-inducing pair left in this competition. It's like good and evil. So at 7:55, they were about maybe like 2 minutes over an hour into this competition, and Todrick is really slipping. Carson, throughout the competition, was trying to wipe off his hands like on the backs of his pants because it didn't have paint on them. Even like in his, like on his underwear because he didn't have paint in there. He was also clearing off the area for his feet so that he wouldn't be slipping around as much. But Todrick was not doing that. So Todrick was slipping. He was about to fall, and he asks Carson to make a deal. So we couldn't hear exactly what Todrick was asking for because his microphone wasn't really working at the time. But Carson agreed to the deal, and Todrick dropped, which means Carson won the HOH. Woo! That's so exciting. Yes, thank you. Oh my God. And now I'm just like, again, that was such a wonderful time, but it was so short-lived. So yeah, this competition lasted a little bit over an hour. Okay. And Carson is like, thank God that I've been doing my yoga lattes. Really paid off. Okay, so then the feed's cut as everyone's congratulating him. They got to go inside and everything. So after they get back in the house, Carson and Cynthia are chatting in the chocolate bedroom. And Carson says, all right, the tide is turning. Like, this is so exciting. And he shares he did make a deal with Todrick during the competition. He told Todrick he wasn't going to put him up. But he says, I wasn't planning on putting him up anyway. So I remember in like the first few days of feeds, Carson and Todrick were talking. Carson was saying, you know, like, I don't really need to win this thing. And he said, I'm really rooting for you, Todrick, and I want to see you do well. Like, I'm not going to be coming after you. So Carson is sticking true to that. And I'm just wondering, like, can Todrick still be a replacement nominee, though? Like, I don't know the exact rules of the deal that they made. Was he saying, I wouldn't put you up at all this week, or just like you wouldn't be an initial nominee? Because that's very important. I don't think Carson realized how hard Todrick has been coming at him so far. But anyway, this whole thing makes me very nervous. So Cynthia and Carson, they're excited to relax and to like have some power this week. Okay, so then everybody was just eating their dinner, getting cleaned up and everything. And after a little while, Cynthia, Shayna, and Carson are celebrating in their room, that chocolate bedroom. And they said the Swisters are doing it for themselves. They're calling themselves the Swisters. Good times. They didn't last very long. So Carson brings up again the deal that he made with Todrick. He's saying he plans to honor that. But he says the biggest threat, Misha, she will certainly be going up because she had no problem putting him up both times that she's been HOH now. So he wants Cynthia and Shayna's advice on who should go up next to Misha. So Shayna says they're all shitting their pants out there. They are a mess now that you're the HOH. She says especially Todd. And Carson says Todd should be shitting his pants because he messed with my woman, meaning Cynthia. Aw, love their friendship. But Shayna brings up how Todd, you know, he's also really loyal to Misha. He has said many, many times that he is one of Misha's soldiers. And yeah, they need to split that up. So if you can't put up Todrick next to Misha, it would make sense to put up Todd. And Carson says, yeah, I am thinking about putting up Todd next to Misha. That way we can guarantee that we get out one of the bad apples. Okay. So they agree that they're going to have some fun, bask in the glory. So Big Brother got the house guests some pizza. Unfortunately, most of them had already eaten. That's that's pretty much a metaphor for like what this has been like for us watching this week. But anyway, a little later, Todrick and Misha were in the front bedroom and they are mopey. Mopey. Todrick is asking Misha, how are you feeling? And Misha says, looks like it all comes down to the power of veto this week, or else I'm going home. You know, she's made it pretty clear that she's been targeting Carson. So they figure that Todd will probably be the one to go up next to Misha. At the time, yes. So Todrick says, in a perfect world, I will win the power veto and I'll be able to save you. And then, of course, I'll also be safe. Okay, so then they start talking about the competition. Todrick is really disappointed that he lost another one. He says, if only Chris and Sink would have stayed loyal to us, then Carson would have been gone and I would have won this competition. He could not stop talking about this. And he says, if Chris hadn't turned on us, we would have had this game. It would have been over. So cocky. So Todrick tells Misha, if you leave this game, I don't know what I would do. I would be done. I'd be toast. So Misha's like, all right, well, we're not there yet. So if we can make it past this power veto, one of us can win the next HOH, and then we can take out Carson next week. Okay. So then Misha was talking about how frustrating it was watching this HOH competition because she feels like she could have won it. And you know, Todrick is probably just like boiling inside hearing her say this. So a little later, Todrick goes to the chocolate bedroom to chat with Carson. And Todrick says, the air is clear now, and I feel like I'm not seeing red anymore now that Kristen's sink is gone. He says, I don't have beef with people in the real world like that. Sure, Jan. For some reason, I don't believe that's true. No freaking way. All right. So Carson says, our deal is set in stone. The deal that they made during the HOH competition. I don't want you to worry about a thing in that regard. So Todrick says there are clear sides right now, obviously. And he says, hypothetically, like if someone from our side, like Lamar, won the power veto and pulled somebody down. Okay, first of all, what is our side? Do you mean like you and Misha and not like you're not including Carson in that, right? Because there's no way that they're on the same side. No way. Also, are you implying that Lamar is on your side? Because I don't know about that. But anyway, it was a weird thing to say. So Todrick here is trying to see, is there a scenario where he would still go up as the replacement nominee? Or is he just like completely safe this week? So Carson says, oh, I don't think that would happen. And like, I wouldn't want to have to do that. But so Todrick is like, yeah, I wouldn't want it either, but I would understand if that were the case. And Carson says, if there were even like a small chance that was going to happen, I would let you know. So you're saying there's a chance. Meanwhile, Misha is chatting with Todd in the kitchen. And she says, well, it looks like it's going to be the two of us going up on the block. And Todd agrees. He says, whatever happens, happens. He's not going to be upset if he goes. He doesn't really care about making it to the end. He thinks that if the vote comes to a tie, which it could, that he will be the one to go this week. What? You really think that Carson is going to evict you over Misha? What? So Misha's like, no. I'm pretty sure that I would be going because I am the bigger target here. So then Todd is asking, you know, if one of us would come off the block, do you think that Todrick would go up as the replacement? And Misha's like, no. She tells him about the deal that Todrick made with Carson during the HOH competition. And Todd is freaking shooketh. He's like, wait, he made a deal? He's not feeling great about that. So he reports this to Lamar, who is also taken aback. They're not super familiar with this game, so I don't think that they knew that like people make deals during endurance competitions, but they just think that it's really messed up that Todrick made a deal. I think they see it as like a selfish move. Um, yeah. So anyway, later, Carson got his HOH room late last night, and his letter was from Tom Felicia. I love how good of friends they still are. That's amazing. It was a very nice letter. And Carson got pictures of his horse Bo. He got pictures of his friends. He got all of his snacks, Chardonnay. His music was Madonna. And Misha did not go to the room reveal. That's really awkward. I don't think she was asleep either. I think she just like didn't go. Yikes. Okay, so then this morning, okay, everything was all fine and dandy last night, but then this morning, like, oh my god. So this is where it starts going off the rails. Carson was making some moves this morning. He's talking to Cynthia and Shanna. They're trying to come up with their game plan here. And Carson is saying, I really don't want Todd to get upset when he goes up on the block. So he plans to talk to Todd beforehand to let him know, look, you're going up, but you're just a pawn, which is true. But then the feeds were kind of choppy, so we missed some of this conversation. But anyway, the Swisters, Carson, Cynthia, and Shayna, they chat with Todd, and this was a very quick conversation. So Carson lets him know he's going up on the block with Misha. He tells him you're a pawn, and he says, if you win the power veto, we would like you to leave the nominations the same, but you don't have to worry. Like, nobody wants you to go. That's a lot to ask somebody on the block not to use the veto. I can't get behind that. It's not good. So anyway, Todd says, okay, I can do that. For real though, the way he just like agreed to that makes me feel like he's not about it. He's just saying yes, but it's really a no. Because for me, I would be like, no, I'm not gonna do that. But Todd just wants to know where his freaking shoe went. He's been looking for this shoe that went missing. He did eventually find it. Anyway, so then the Swisters tell Lamar what's going on. And he's on board with Misha leaving this week. Carson says, if we don't get rid of Misha, none of us are going to have a chance to win this thing. Okay, so that's great. Whatever, fine. So then the Swisters talk to Todrick next. And this is like a whole mess. It gets really weird here, like really weird. So they tell Todrick the plan. They're like, we want to have you be in on this and let you know what's going on, just like as a common courtesy thing, because like when we were going up on the block, nobody was telling us what was going on. So they tell Todrick, yeah, we want to put up Misha and Todd. Misha is the target, which is like, okay, fine, whatever. But then they tell Todrick, if you win the power veto, we want you to keep the nominations the same. No freaking way. There is no way. There's no planet where Todrick wins the power veto and does not use it to save Misha. Like, what? So they're like, yeah, if you win and you don't use the veto, we want to offer you a Final Four deal. We want to reunite the original alliance. Because remember, at the very beginning, we had the girls and the gays alliance, Todrick, Carson, Cynthia, and Shayna. And things got messy when Teddy and Mariah were added in. So they're offering him a Final Four deal. And Todrick is like, wow, like, I don't even know what to say. Yeah, because it's crazy. But Todrick says, yeah, I know I probably wouldn't beat Misha in the end. But you know that Todrick is also thinking, why would I give up the chance to be a number 2 for Misha in order to be number 4 in this already tight group? Like, why would he do that? It would make no sense. So that, Todrick is going along with it. And Todrick asks, what would happen if Misha wins the power veto and pulls herself down? Like, do you guys still want me to work with you to take her out? Or like, would you be okay with me still fighting on her side? What? Oh my God. What kind of question is that? Oh, obviously they want you to work with them, but like, this just should show Carson you need to put up Todrick with Misha. You just need to do it. Who cares about the freaking dumb deal that you made during the HOH competition? You can bounce checks in Big Brother. Absolutely insane. Would you be okay with me still fighting on her side? So Todrick says, all right, I need to think about all this. I can't make a decision right now. And he's asking, like, can I talk this over with Misha? If that wasn't insane enough, the Swisters say, yeah, go for it. Like, this isn't something we're trying to keep a secret. Like, just talk it over with her, like, whatever. What is going on here? And this isn't even like the insane part of today. So Tadra goes to the gym to tell Misha about this new proposal, whatever. They're talking through it. They pretty much agree. Yes, Todrick should act like he's taking the deal. But if he or Misha win the power of veto, she is coming off the block and they're going to keep doing their thing and targeting the Swisters because duh. Okay, so I can't. So later, this is where it gets super messed up. Todrick was talking to Cynthia in the bathroom, and I'm really going to need people to wake up and start using their brains. And one of these main people is Cynthia. I remember somebody telling me before the season started that Cynthia always listens to like the last person that's talking to her. She always believes the last person that's talking to her. And I haven't really seen much of Real Housewives of Atlanta, so I didn't know that much like what Cynthia's deal was. And I wasn't sure if she was going to carry that into this house, but apparently she did because this is an absolute disaster. So first, Todrick is talking with Cynthia about the deal that was proposed, about the final four. And he's like, you know what? I just don't know that I want to be like number four in an already established group. Like, obviously, you guys are going to pick each other over me when we get to the end. So, like, I don't know if that's a good move for me to leave something that I already have to be number four in your group. And then, which is fair, whatever. But then Todrick starts throwing Shanna under the bus hard. And it's not even just like it's all game stuff. Like there's some weird ass personal stuff that he's including in this. So he says Shanna is as much of a snake as Kristen Sink. Me and Misha, we're in a final four deal with Shanna and Chris in sync. She has been saying that Carson has to go. She was actually the one that brought the idea to me in the first place. And she's been protected on both sides this whole time. So Todrick says, I'm not going to turn on Misha in order to work with Shayna. You know, she's in a comfortable position here. And he says, I think that that's the way that Shayna navigates and makes her moves in real life, like in the real world too. What? Like, why do you have to bring somebody's personal life into this game, you freaking weirdo? Really, really weird. So, and that's not even the worst of it. So then Todrick says, I would be happy in 2022 sitting at the end next to a black woman or a gay man. But he's like, not Shayna. I don't like what she stands for as a human being. What does that even mean? Oh my God. I feel like Todrick is trying to use what the cookout did last season, but he's just using like bits and pieces of it. And the way that he is using it feels gross because it seems like he waits until he's backed into a corner and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, look what the cookout did. Like, we need to all stick together. But like when he's in a position of power, he doesn't really care about that. So it just feels really gross. But anyway, Cynthia's actually buying all of this. She's like, oh my God, Shayna has been playing both sides. Like, this is so messed up. Oh my God. Cynthia, stop. So then Lamar comes in and Cynthia's like, all right, let me ask you a few questions about Shayna. Like, I want to ask you some like character questions. And Lamar basically says, like, it's obvious that Shayna is on Carson's side of the house. Thank you. Hello. Like, she used the power of veto on Carson this past eviction, and she voted for Cynthia to stay over Kristen Sink, who's supposed to be like her number one. What more does she need to do to prove that she's actually loyal to you? What? So then Misha comes in. Lamar leaves. Misha comes in. And of course, Misha jumps on board with what Todrick has been doing and she starts throwing Shayna under the bus. Misha's saying that Shayna has been shady. She does not deserve to be a role model. She's a snake. Like, A role model? What? This is Big Brother. There's like lots of lying and stuff that's gonna be happening here. Nobody's like looking for role models in here. What? And if they are, you're doing it wrong. All right. So then Todrick builds on that and he's like, what message are we sending to the world right now that this blonde girl who's famous for marrying famous people, we're going to keep her until the end while we've all had to work our asses off and face adversities that she has not had to face? What? Oh my God. First of all, like Shayna has had her own career and like you don't know the things that she's gone through in her life. Like it's so gross. And then Todrick says Shayna walks around here half naked and he tries to like backtrack a little bit and he's like, she looks great, but like if that's her strategy, is your strategy being an asshole? Because it's working. Misha's piling on about Shayna and like what she wears, and she says that she is like using her sexuality to lock in Lamar's vote. Oh my God. This should be a major red flag to Cynthia. But again, she is just taking all this in and she's like, oh my God, Shayna's terrible. She's the worst. We can't have her here anymore. So then Carson comes in and Todrick and Misha are going through their whole spiel again. And eventually, Carson asks, why did Shayna take me down if she wants me out? Like, it doesn't make sense. And Misha says, so that she could stay in the game longer. And Todrick says, yeah, she sold out her ride or die, Kristen Sink, and she can do it to you too. That makes no sense. What? It just doesn't make sense. And Carson and Cynthia are not seeing this. Like, they need to step back and think about this for a while because it's absolutely insane. They don't even realize Chris and Sink knew he was going to probably go up and go home. And he told Shayna to make that move. What? So Carson is asking, well, what do you think I should do for nominations? Like, are we supposed like should I be going after Shayna? Like, do I go after you guys? Like, So, and this is also insane. Then Misha suggests that he put up herself and Todrick. Oh, what? You're piling on to Shayna here. And then she's like, no, you should put up me and Todrick because then we will both be playing for the power veto, guaranteed. There's only one person that is not going to be playing for the power veto this week, but she's saying we'll be guaranteed to play, and then one of us will win, and we can backdoor Shayna this week. So Todrick's like, I was on board until you said that I should go up on the block. Like, what? So Misha says, Todrick, even if the nominations stay the same, like say Shayna wins power veto and the nominations stay the same, I'm the bigger target than you. I'm going to be going. You're going to be fine. And she's like willing to take that risk. So Cynthia is like, I think that Shayna should go up. Oh my God. So then Shayna and Carson chat. And Shayna's like, what the hell is going on here? Because I was just trying to talk to Cynthia. And she told me that she is not talking to me unless you are there. And she seems pissed at me. So Carson's like, they're saying that you're playing both sides. And Shayna's like, okay, what? Like, I told you everything that was going on. She's explaining like some of the stuff that they're bringing up is from weeks ago, which was like completely different game. Completely different game. That's something that a lot of people don't realize if they're not like fans of the show. Things change so quickly, and something that may have been the case weeks ago is not necessarily still the case. So yeah, she's trying to explain that, and she's like, yeah, also I was telling the other side what they wanted to hear. Hello. Not to mention Shayna used the power of veto on Carson and voted to keep Sunday off. What? So while the feeds were down, they moved the conversation into the HOH room with Cynthia. I guess she'll talk to Shayna as long as Carson's in there. So things got really heated. They were raising voices, Cynthia and Shayna. Cynthia is not buying what Shayna is saying, which, by the way, Shayna is saying the truth. But Cynthia really wants Shayna to confront Todrick and Misha to their faces. And Misha and Shayna's like, no, I'm not doing this. Like, this is stupid. I'm not going to get in a screaming match over this. I'm not doing it. So eventually, because Cynthia keeps insisting, there is like a really brief house meeting, sort of. Like, everyone gathers in the kitchen. And of course, Todrick and Misha, of course, Todrick and Misha are ganging up on Shayna. So she's looking guilty because she's getting upset. And after a few minutes, Shayna's like, no, I've had enough. I'm not doing this. I'm not going to be yelling about this stuff. No. So she tells Carson, do what you need to do. If you're going to put me up, whatever. Like, I'm telling the truth. But if this is what you're doing, fine. So Todrick and Misha keep working on Carson and Cynthia. And I got to say, Carson and Cynthia are looking so foolish right now. It is so sad the way that Todrick and Misha have convinced them that Shayna is against them. It is so sad. Why are you going to believe these people that have been against you the whole time? What? So anyway, nominations are happening tonight. I don't know what Carson is going to do at this point because I haven't been able to see the feeds in the last little bit of time, like leading up to this spoiler. But the last I heard, he is planning on targeting Shayna, but not necessarily putting her up right off the bat. They're going to try and go for a backdoor move, it seems. Unless things change again. I don't know. But if you guys want to check back later, I will post the nominations in the info box.
Oh,
what a disaster. Right?
I feel sick.
Yeah, it's gross. Okay. So, are you guys watching the feeds right now? Like, who are they saying is going to be going up? I would assume that Misha is still going up. I don't know if it's going to be Todd or Todrick next to her or
how are they
what the
such
deal
a bunch
is.
of dum-dums?
It's really sad. Like, it makes me really sad. Like, here we go. The tide could be turning. I know.
Oh, how the turns have tabled.
Yeah, and then they're going to freaking blow it. Like, what? Okay, so let's talk about today's super chatters. I want to thank you all so much. Jefferson Tucker, thank you so much. Alex Garza, thank you so much. Nina Sosa, thank you so much. Nini Girl, thank you so much. Linda Dupree, thank you so much. Lynn Hurst, thank you so much for the super chat. And she says, thanks for all you do. Thanks for watching. Norm the Cat is back. Yay! Thank you for the super chat. And Catherine, thank you so much for the super chat. And Catherine says, I have a new job, so it's hard to catch the lives.
Congrats.
I hope you're enjoying your new job. But she says, like always, you are the best at the updates and spoilers. Oh, thank you. And can't wait for Canada and regular Big Brother. Go Carson. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying it. I hope you're liking your new job so far too.
I feel like I have an ulcer now.
It's a whole disaster.
It was going okay,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's just...
It's hard to watch this.
It's the devil's fart.
Yeah. As bad. I just can't get over the lows that Todrick and Misha have sunk to. Like, it's one thing to talk about Shayna playing both sides and all that, but to like slut shame her and talk about her real like personal life is just really gross.
The only person in the game who's playing a personal attack game is Todrick.
Well, and Misha.
Well, yeah, because he told her to do it, but she really was not doing that before. She was just playing on brute force before.
I'm closing the book.
You should burn it.
Disaster. Absolute
Let's
disaster.
burn the book.
So anyway, yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see what happens here. Oh, wait. We have an update here. Jefferson Tucker says that Misha and Todd are going to be going up on the block. Okay, but I'm assuming that Carson is still planning on backdooring Shayna at this point, which is just very, very sad. Okay.
Well, I'm not going to be happy till they throw themselves in the garbage.
Nini Girl, thank you so much for another super chat. You're awesome. And Nini Girl says, Misha and Todrick were just doing the happy dance when they were alone. Yeah, because they know that they just got away with some bullshit. And I can't even give them credit for this move because honestly, it's more just that like Cynthia and Carson are being really naive and really foolish here.
Do they drink Avion?
They should go drink a bottle of themselves. But anyway, thank you all so much. We will see you tomorrow. And until next time, much love. Oh, wait. Also, I just want to mention tomorrow's spoiler is going to be earlier in the day because we have
Super Bowl party.
Super Bowl party with Granny. So
Don't party just yet.
I'm not sure the time exactly yet, but just like, if you want a notification from YouTube, hit that bell icon.
Yeah, if you're subscribed
Mhm.
and like you got the bell notification on, it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
Unless YouTube is a devil's fart.
Well, whatever. So we'll see you tomorrow. So until then, much love. Bye.